Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new episode of Friday Night WrestleCast. I'm your host, Richard Billy Jr., and tonight I'm joined by Mr. Adam Vale. How's it going, Adam?
What's up? It's going. We got Ricochet, baby. We got Ricochet. Double moonsault. I don't know if they'll let him do it, but whatever.
Well, maybe in NXT, but the main roster, I don't think so. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're also joined by Miss Dana Abercrombie. How's it going, Dana?
Hola, we have watered down Ricochet.
We can't say that yet.
Not yet. Let's not jinx it. We know it's going to happen, but hopefully not after at least a few injuries.
Oh, no. Yes. And we're also joined by the returning Mr. Ricardo Negron. How's it going, Ricky?
Going good. The million things that any of your viewers could be doing on a Friday night, you're spending it with us. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, we appreciate that. Very much so. Yes. So obviously this past week there was a lot of things that happened in WWE and just in the world of wrestling in general. So we're actually going to start off this show with just a quick rundown of all of the events that took place this week. So I'm going to hand the mic over to Dana. Feel free to let us know all of the news items that happened this week in the world of wrestling.
Yes, hello everybody. This is what happened in the week of wrestling. First off, we have a sad story. Paige, as we all know, was recently injured at a house show. She was kicked in the back of the neck by Sasha Banks. It was all like a big accident, but apparently or allegedly, she has a career-ending move. And the only reason why she has not came out yet to retire, give some type of speech, acknowledge it, is because there are reports that Paige is in serious denial. So despite being told by WWE doctors that her wrestling career is over, Paige made several social media posts alluding to competing again. However, this seems to be in an effort to try to convince herself that things are not career. A story from the Hollywood Life asserts that Paige may be in denial about the whole situation. And the famous anonymous source, a WWE insider, has reported that Paige is willing to fight to the very end. And by saying that it's really sad, she's only 25 and she should be at the peak of her career. Instead, it's looking like Paige is going to be forced to announce her retirement, and that all of the WWE doctors are basically not ganging up on her, but really encouraging her, sending her messages almost daily to announce that she's going to retire and that this is not going to go the way that she wants it to. In her mind, though, she still feels that she is going to come back, and right now her emotions is just all over the place. And so for the time being, she's going to still be out in the ring, but of course she's not going to wrestle. So that's really sad what's going on with her. Now, Mark Henry, previously, it was reported that he was going to retire. However, he's denying all reports, and he's saying that there's still a lot that I can do. He says that while he isn't officially retired, he's going to still work behind the scenes, and that he wants to spend more time with his family, but he may make an appearance here or there or, whatever. We haven't seen him in a ring for a really, really long time, but he's still insisting that we're going to see him one day. Recently, we saw the return of the curb stomp, which Seth Rollins is very happy about, and so is the rest of the WWE universe. Also, it was revealed that Raw 25 on Monday, these are the following people who's going to appear. We have Mark Henry, which, remember, as he said, he wasn't retiring, so I guess this is what he's referring to. Jeff Hardy. Also, we're going to have Edge, which will be interesting to see. The Mixed Match Challenge was this week. Ratings were pretty okay. It was kind of like a really fun, relaxed show. Finn Balor and Sasha Banks defeated Shinsuke and Natalie. Eva Marie announced that she is an alcoholic. She did an interview, and basically she's saying that she has relapsed, and that because of her relapse, it destroyed relationships, hurt her family, and that she's disappointed herself numerous times, but she keeps fighting for her life. And this is something that's going to happen every single day. And she decided that she wanted to speak out because she has the opportunity to help a lot of young people who are struggling as well with addiction. And she realized that she had a problem after she served 3 months in jail for repeated DUIs. So she doesn't have a license. Right now, she doesn't really have much of a stable job, and that she's really trying to fight back at everything. So she has like photo shoots she's able to do. You see appearances here and there, but for right now, she's really wants to concentrate on her sobriety. Kevin Nash announced that he is not going to be able to attend the 25th anniversary of Raw because of surgery. He stated that he was really looking forward to it and he really wanted to be a part of it, but it's impossible for him to travel on any type of airline and that it would just be self-inflicted torture. So he did say that he is going to see everyone at Mania if he doesn't, break another quad. Roman Reigns is currently linked to a $10 million steroid ring. However, he is denying that he bought steroids from anyone, including this now in prison PED Kingpin. He says that I have never heard of Richard Rodriguez or Wellness. I have never heard of Richard Rodriguez or the Wellness Fitness Nutrition. Reigns said in a statement that he is going to fight this as much as he can, and that when he made a mistake 2 years ago and he paid a penalty for it, and since then he has passed 11 tests as part of the WWE's independent testing program, and he's never touching any type of substance again. WWE has also signed the following people to development: Ronda Rousey, which we already knew, Shayna Baszler, I'm sorry, I'm going to butcher your name, also Nazir Al-Ruyeya, Candice LaRae, War Machine, Ricochet, Serena Dweb, sorry, again. She was the woman from the Straight Edge days with CM Punk, and Eric Carter, who is not signed. However, he is currently at the Performance Center.
He also
WWE.
Yeah.
She had a drinking problem. She was the alcoholic Straight Edge from the CM Punk days. Mm-hmm. So it's very unfortunate, but she turned her life around. So now she's at the she's been signed, which is a good thing for her. There's also the WWE 2K18 Enduring Icons DLC pack that just dropped, and it adds 5 players to the game: Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, Beth Phoenix, Ricky Morton, and Robert Gibson. So also we have former WWE composer Jim Johnson. He opened up recently about being fired and how he's still really disappointed about how everything ended. Johnson was a guest on Primetime with Sean Mooney on his podcast, and that he said that things started to change for him in WWE about 3 to 4 years ago due to politics behind the scenes. He wouldn't go into detail, but he says that he trusted friends who turned out to not be his friend. As for his firing, it was done directly by Vince McMahon during a brief phone conversation. I think there were better ways to end it. It's where everyone could have walked away feeling much better. So Johnson went on explaining that after 32 years, it feels like a lost opportunity. And he still to this day doesn't understand what happened. Both WWE and New Japan Pro Wrestling is interested in signing Bobby Lashley. Goldberg is going to be inducted into the Hall of Fame, and Paul Heyman is going to do the inducting. Also, Impact Wrestling is now on Twitch, and it will feature a 24-hour live stream and exclusive weekly programming. And that's it. That's happened this week.
Thank you very much for that thorough description of all of the events that took place this week. And hopefully we can make a bigger impact than Impact Wrestling, because that company, I know what's going on with that company now.
Sorry for the people paying for that shit on that other fight network.
Hey, well, somebody, for those that are paying, hey, God bless them. That's all I can say. All right, so in terms of the topics of this week, obviously there was a lot of things that Dana already mentioned. I do have one comment that I want to make before we get into any of the media topics you guys want to discuss. I actually got a chance to play the WWE 2K18 Enduring Icons this week.
Me too.
So I got to play as the Hardy Boys. Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
so let's get your thoughts on that before I give my thoughts on that.
Man, it's like it felt at least when it comes to the Hardys, especially Matt, it felt half-assed. It's like, oh, we're gonna put this little streak, and then we'll give him the delete, animation, and then that's it. But you couldn't even add, any of the audio stuff, like when he does, because they added some of the audio when they're in the ring. Someone, I say Paige, she does the screen. This is my house. That's up. Why couldn't they do that with delete? Me saying delete. They could have did that. No, they didn't do that. None of that stuff is there.
My guess was that they were still, when they did this, they were still trying to work out the right.
But that's what I'm saying. You can do an update. We get updates all the time for games. Make an update. Be like, oh, what? You got that? Okay. I'm not expecting the entrance and all that. That's too new. But at least with that, and maybe some of the moves, you can customize it. A lot of those moves are already in the game. Just change up his move set. That's all. But they didn't bother with it. It's just, whatever.
WWE and Ukes don't really care. This is like,
no, they don't care. It's just a toy. It's just a toy.
It's their yearly throwaway game.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said it best when you said that it's half-assed, because that is the middle name of that company. Both Ukes, 2K, and I can say that because NBA 2K18 also was disappointing as far as the My Player stuff. But I will say this. One thing I noticed when I did play as the Hardys, the animation is the exact same animation it was when they returned to WWE at WrestleMania. However, it is not timed correctly, because the music, we're halfway into the music and then the Hardys come out. That's not how it was in Mania. These guys came out as soon as the music started, because I see Jeff, they had Jeff hopping out. It's the exact same animation when I went back and looked at that and then the WrestleMania footage. So yeah, they just added these guys in based on that debut, didn't bother updating anything. And I don't know if obviously the Woken stuff is not in there. That won't be in there. You'll have to wait until WWE 2K19 for that. But yeah, very disappointing, I would say. But it is what it is.
It's not a surprise. I had a feeling they were going to do some cheese like that. So it sucks. Whatever. I don't think I'm picking up the neck. Yeah.
That's typical pukes for you.
That's it.
That's right. You said pukes. That's right. So let's go ahead and let's get into some of the big topics that happened this week. Obviously, first and foremost, I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on things that you liked and didn't like about Monday Night Raw, because there's a couple things that happened this week that I thought were pretty interesting. So, Adam, how about you let me know what you liked and disliked about Raw?
The main story was cheesy. The whole thing of Braun being fired. It's like, oh, you're fired. Okay, they should have just played it out, though. Play it out. It's like, okay, if he's fired, then, and I saw he was causing all that havoc backstage stuff, then let it just keep going. But they didn't. They just squashed it at the end of the show. Oh, guess what? Don't worry about it. I called off the cops and I talked to Stephanie. You're good. You're back in the match. Why'd they do that? There's still 2 more weeks or whatever toward the Royal Rumble. Just ride it out. Have him do something to the point that maybe he attacks Brock again or Kane, and it's like, no, you better put him in. I'm gonna hurt him. Do something like that. Don't just squash it and make it seem like it was Stephanie's call again, because it doesn't make any sense. So that whole thing pissed me off. The Michael Cole thing pissed me off also. I'm not a fan of Michael Cole, but he puts up with a lot, and then to see him get picked up and then tossed, he's not a young guy, and I know he's not practicing taking bumps in the back. And so for something like that, it's like, what was the point? Why'd you do that to him? Because the fans see it, but they don't really care too much. They probably would have cared more if it was Adam Graves, if they would have did something like that, but they didn't. They just threw Michael Cole. So Corey Graves, sorry. There was another Adam Graves, but they're Corey. If they threw Corey, but they didn't do that. He's got his own neck injury and stuff. But it just didn't do it for me with all that. And then with the Finn Balor and bringing back the curb stomp, when Seth pulled that out, it's like, okay, you brought it back. I still don't understand why. I get it. It's your move, and that's what we all know. And he was doing a pedigree for a while, and especially with his knees, what's happening with his leg, it doesn't help. The pedigree puts a lot of pressure on the knees, so you got to do something else. I get it, but that move, and from what I remember, the story is that Vince didn't like the move because that was their top guy, and it was shown in highlight reels, and also he had no idea that the name came from American History X. Remember the curb stomp, and that was a big deal, and that he didn't know about that. So he was like, no, forget it. And then with all the lawsuits going on right now, where a lot of wrestlers are suing WWE because of concussions that they had from chair shots and other things going on, it just didn't seem right. So it made sense to change the move up or get rid of the move. Well, you bring it back full force, and I guess it's here to stay from the way that Finn Balor was selling it. It was like a good 2-3 minutes of just the camera on him and the club trying to pick him up, and he's getting dizzy and doing the whole thing. I'm like, wow, they're really selling this, So I guess this wasn't a one-off. This is going to be his move. It's back, So we'll see where it goes with that. But besides that, it's just something you watch. I didn't see anything else that really stood out, and that's it. That was my take. Yeah.
Sounds good. Yeah, I agree with a lot of what you said. I'll just go ahead and say my thing real quick. Yeah, the Braun Strowman stuff, I think we already know the Braun's main goal and focus is specifically to destroy things. People love seeing him destroy things. That storyline about getting fired, yeah, they handled that. That was way too fast. I don't know why they because they've done that firing thing so many times. You get tired of seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Like I feel like at first I was like, maybe this is just one of those short cash grab type things. Like, oh, well, say you're fired, and then people who are watching or text their buddy, oh, guess what? They changed the match. Someone got fired. Maybe try to get some more viewers. Maybe that's why they did it, and then just string them along, and then right at the end be like, gotcha. That's the only thing I can think of, because it really made no sense unless they were going to drag it out, and they didn't do that.
And I also think that also could have just been put in there because they're trying to make up for the fact that there are a couple people injured now, because we know Samoa Joe is out. We know Jason Jordan is supposedly injured, although he's still showing up at the to the actual show but not competing.
But he's fortunate enough to be in a tag team. So even if he's injured, maybe he can get in the ring for a few minutes and then he could tag out. He doesn't have to worry about carrying a full match at the Rumble. So that's one of the things. That's sort of the same thing with Sheamus and his back problems. It's okay because he's in a tag team and he's got Cesaro. Cesaro can go in there and when they do moves, they can do double team moves and things like that together. So it'll be okay, until he heals up. But I think Sheamus's back problems are more severe. I don't think that's something that can just heal up. They haven't really said too much of what's going on with Jordan's injury, but.
Yeah, you're right. Well, we'll see about that. But I will say that I really do like Braun. That's why when I see them have him doing all this stuff to try to put him over, I know he actually has a new shirt out now. But when I see him, I like, this is the guy that, yeah, he definitely should win this upcoming match at Royal Rumble, but we already know he won't win because they have to make Brock look strong. Get ready for Reigns at WrestleMania. So it's unfortunate to see, he's over with the fans, obviously. But I don't really think they're ever going to really give him that belt, at least not the Universal title, maybe the world title, perhaps. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, man, because remember, it's all about money. It's all about money. And I find it kind of interesting that now he gets this new shirt leading up to Royal Rumble. So if that shirt starts flying off the shelf, they might say, you know what? We got something here. Let's see if we can ride this out. Because, I mean, it's all about the merch. It's all about selling. Look at Enzo. Enzo can't work. He can talk his little BS on the mic, but he sells merch. People buy his shirts. So I think that has something to do with it. And I think if he sells a lot, because remember, they always kept saying about Roman. They were like, yeah, people can boo him and do all that. JBL talked about it on that show, but he sells one of the highest amount of merch. So they're buying it, they're booing him, and then they're running straight to the stands afterwards and buying that $25 t-shirt. So I think people love Braun. It's believable. He's very believable because he's so big and powerful. We see how he manhandles people like as if they're like 5-pound bags. It doesn't matter how big they are. And people like that. And he can move and he can talk. I mean, I prefer big men like that not to talk, not to say too much. I definitely don't want Aleister Black talking. That should piss me off. So I don't want to see Braun talking. I just want to see him say, I'm going to destroy you. And that's it. That's enough. It's believable because it's like, yeah, you can do it. Make it so, number one. Go.
That's right.
Right? That's it.
So, man, so we'll see what happens. I would love to see him actually get a shot at the title, actually win the title. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And the last thing I will say before I go to Ricky and Dana, I think the Finn Balor is an excellent actor because I saw him take that move and they just really try to put it over and stuff. I also have to agree with you, Adam. I don't understand why the move is back when they're worried about the concussion stuff. But at the same time, listen, I like the move beforehand, so I'm totally fine with that.
The only thing I can see that they talked about in the back was like, the concussions and all stuff. But from what I know and from what I think we all know, he's never hurt anybody doing that move. If anything, the one move that he does that keeps hurting people is that power bomb to the corner. Remember, he took out Sting. He took out Finn Balor when he did it to the barricades. It's like that. Take that move away from him. That one's dangerous. But
you talking about that buckle bomb? Yeah,
that buckle bomb because he did. I was gonna call it buckle bomb, but the thing is that he also did it to the barricade. But it's just his running power bomb throw type thing, and it hurts people. So they need to ban that move. That seems to hurt a lot of people. So get rid of that.
Yeah, I think they should ban the move. But I will say, if he has to use the move again, he should use it on Jason Jordan, so Jason Jordan could take a break from the main roster for a little while. But that's just my opinion. All right.
Oh, man.
So that's just my thoughts on Raw. Yes, I think everybody's waiting for the Raw 25th show. We'll get into that soon. But Ricky, do you have anything that you liked or disliked about Raw from what you did see?
Well, before I get into my thoughts, I'll concede to Dana because, and I'll save my thoughts for the end because, quite honestly, there wasn't a whole lot of Raw that I saw this week, so I have very little credibility on that. So let me pass it on to Dana, and then I'll.
So for those who don't know, Ricky retired from wrestling for a week. He was talking about doing a full-time permanent retirement. He was going to sell his belt on eBay. It was getting kind of crazy, and then he had a dream with Hulk Hogan, and everything just came back. And there you go.
I'm just so upset that Ambrose is hurt, and that's because my boy, and it's very little reason to watch and all that. But no, it's all good. Yeah, Dana, go ahead, and I'll put my thoughts after.
Okay. Well, I'm surprised that no one wanted to, like Strowman, and that you guys are ready to get these hands, basically.
I enjoyed it.
I thought it was, maybe if I was younger, then it would be like, oh my God, this is amazing. But we've seen something similar to this so many times with these big guys that is just like, oh, okay. He's like a one-trick pony. He just lifts things and puts them down. Mm-hmm. That's all. So, yeah, it was kind of boring in that aspect. But, if you like watching big trucks being overturned, then it was the greatest thing that's ever happened.
I didn't even bother that. That wasn't even worth. When I saw, I was like, all right, now you're going too far. It's like, oh look, he picked it up. Oh, he tipped it over. Oh my God.
But that's what aggravated me so much is that he's doing so much, and that he's going to lose by one F5.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand the whole purpose of all of this buildup, and we all know he's going to lose. So it's so unfortunate. But yeah. So that was sad. And then, you had Rollins and Balor, which was basically SummerSlam 2016 all over again. I was happy to see the return of the curb stop. My thing is, I wish they would have changed the name because apparently I must have been the only one who watched American History X and kind of.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's why I said the same thing. I was like, man, then change the move. Call it the Rollins stop. I don't know, something else.
Like, I don't know, the Rollins, roll, or like whatever, or I stomp on your face, whatever, other curb stop, because you have that name and it's connected to American History X. And then you remember Seth was dating that girl who was like a Nazi supporter. So it was just a bad call. But I don't care what anyone says. Finn Balor, they sold it real well. I was a little confused because everyone looked like they was just confused. And I liked how they sold the move then. And I like how, oh my God, it just came out of nowhere. And, Seth is really happy about it. And I'm happy about it. I was never comfortable with that name. Jason Jordan, I don't know why he still exists. but he does. So it was okay. It was all right. I liked the women's match between Asuka and Nia with Sonya and Sasha. I thought that was good. You know, again, the women, to me, their matches seem to be a little bit better than what's going on with the men. I like watching actual, wrestling, and, there was like submission after submission. And I like that. And it's nice that they're trying to do something with Nia, because before, remember, she was just hanging out in the back, just not doing anything. So that was good. I can't stand Titus O'Neil. For me, he's just, every time he talks, it's just, I just don't like him at all. I liked the whole Matt Hardy. He got a new music and the new character thing. And I loved the laughing and then the glass breaking and the whole Woken situation. So for me, that's good. So, it was all right.
Sounds good. One comment to make before I go to Ricky. We did have TWF Vlogs in the chat. He actually said that Corey Graves called the Seth Rollins move now Blackout on Raw. So I don't know if that's going to be the new name or what, but that's what he said. Corey Graves.
There you go. That works. Anything's better than a curb stomp. Just move on from that.
Yeah. Let's not associate it to killing people.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I hope they do change that. They also would need to change Roman Reigns' drive-by kick. Because drive-by, we can't be talking about that type of stuff if you got kids in the audience. But
because then all it takes is one kid to say, "What's a drive-by?" Well, son, let's watch Boys in the Hood. Come on, let me show you what a drive-by is. It's like.
They don't want to see that. Yeah,
they've changed it. People may say, "Oh no, they're not going to go that PG." They did it. They did it with Cena. Remember the FU, the attitude adjustment.
That's right.
They changed that, so they can
STFU.
Yeah.
That's right. I'll be very curious to see what happens on Raw. You have Steve Austin coming back. Whether or not they will allow him to do the middle finger, or they will say no, you got to be a little bit more G-rated. We'll see.
It all depends on the hour, remember? If it's past that 10 o'clock hour, he can do it.
That's true. Well, yeah, you're right. All right, so Ricky, go ahead now. What are your thoughts on this past week's edition of Monday Night Raw?
Okay. So what I previously said was that there wasn't much that I saw. But out of what I did see, here's what I liked. Michael Cole being tossed like a rag doll. I enjoyed that very much. And he was fine. They had like a whole group of guys there to catch him. He didn't even touch the ground. It was totally fine. Although if you saw the replay, you saw Michael Cole mouthing the words, "Oh my God." You could tell that he was genuinely terrified about what was about to happen, because it was very possible that Cole would have been flung over that group, and then we would have had some serious damage there. While I enjoyed that, I didn't care for the whole getting fired angle. I think it's a load of crap. I said this in a discussion with Rich earlier, that those angles are like deaths in comic books. They never stick. Firings mean nothing in the show. They hold no weight. There's no real shock to it. They're going to come back, so it's like whatever. And for them to undo it on the same show, it's like, nah, it's just silly. So yeah, that's my thought on that. I did want to kind of go back to a point that Adam made about merchandise, and got to mention my boy Ambrose. In late 2014, he was one of the top merch sellers in the company. I believe he was number 2 behind John Cena. Late 2014, but he was booked like a nerd and lost to Bray Wyatt when a television exploded in his face. So it doesn't necessarily, it's not exactly an indication of where they're going with the guy,
But I think what ruined him was that Stone Cold podcast, that interview that he did. I think that's what really hurt him. At least
That
for
hurt
the
him.
business side, that they were like, yo, you're trying to make our guy who's interviewing you look stupid. Because he said he came up from this hard life and this whole thing, and that's why Steve Austin said, hey, tell me about that. Tell you about what? Well, you know, the hardship. Oh, I have no hardship. I don't know what you're talking about. You know, and it's like, all right, so now you're making him look stupid. And then he got upset, and then everybody else, Vince and everybody got upset about that. So
Yeah, no, that's right. But the thing with that podcast is that happened 2 years later. He had the championship in 2016. What I'm referring to is 2014, which was the year the Shield broke up, and Ambrose was chasing Seth Rollins, and Bray Wyatt interfered in that Hell in a Cell match, and he feuded with Wyatt, and then that's when the whole TV exploding thing happened, and Ambrose was just a joke. So that whole season culminated in Ambrose hyping up the Intercontinental belt, and only to be in the ladder match at that WrestleMania and not even win the belt there. So merch selling, it's great for the company, whatever, but it's not exactly indicative of what they're going to do with the guy. I think that with Strowman is that, yes, he's over organically, and I do think he's going to win the Universal title within the next year. But I don't think it's going to be anytime before WrestleMania. But that's another discussion for another time. I wanted to get into the Blackout. I'm happy that it's back. I don't mind it being called the Blackout, considering that that's what it was called when he was in the Indies. If you may recall, it wasn't called the Curb Stomp first. It was called Peace of Mind, which is kind of a lame name. So they quickly
Tyler Black.
No. This was Initial Shield Seth Rollins.
Oh.
They called it Peace of Mind. Like the very first time he used it, Michael Cole called it Peace of Mind. That was what it was. And they only used that term, I believe, one episode, and that was it. Then it was Curb Stomp after that. Blackout's fine. It harkens back to his days as Tyler Black. It's a better name than Curb Stomp. Curb Stomp is basically stomping on the curb. There's racial connotations with that. So I'm glad they kind of did away with it. It would have been cool if they hadn't brought it back on Martin Luther King Day, but I guess you take what you can get with this company. You know what I mean? Yeah. So there's that stuff. And there was one other thing I was going to mention. Honestly, can't recall, and that pretty much says it all as far as what I remember from Raw. So. Yeah.
Oh, it sounds good. It's totally understood because it wasn't really a memorable Raw. Now that obviously will hopefully be the Raw 25th anniversary on Monday night. But yeah, I wanted to ask very quickly if you guys had any thoughts of any surprises that we may see at that actual show.
I don't think so. I think it's pretty much all booked up. Just the surprises, maybe Mick Foley, more legends showing up, that type of thing. But story-wise, I don't see it happening. I mean, everything is already stacked for the throwback experience. You heard that.
Okay.
Yeah, well, yeah, that could be one of them. I mean, I think he came out and he said, he was watching it from home, whatever, but that could be all talk. I would like some surprises like Sting showing up. I know he wasn't part of the Raw thing, but damn, I mean, just bring him back for something. And if there's any kind of a celebration or anniversary of anything, just get him a part of it. It was his whole career in WWE was cut too short from that injury. It still upsets me, So, but Mick Foley from Long Island, he should definitely be there. So.
I still to this day cannot understand why MVP is there. Like,
well, MVP, he was a big player there, MVP.
And on SmackDown.
Yeah, but I mean for both. I mean, he was there for a long time. I know he was there wasn't he there for the first brand split when they did that way back? I could have swore because he was feuding with Matt Hardy for a long time. Remember, they had their whole feud for a long time.
That wasn't on SmackDown?
I don't know if it was. I don't remember. It was so long ago. But I know that he was a big player on both shows, and he was moving around. He was sort of like Mr. Kennedy. You know, they can do that. I think that'd be fun if Mr. Kennedy came down and they did the whole little thing with the mic.
That would be.
Oh yeah, that would be cool.
You know, open up the
And
show that way.
Coachman's going to be there, so that should be. I want him to do something like The Rock.
Well, the word is that The Rock is going to do like some video thing. You know, I don't think he's actually physically going to be there, but
yeah, he's too busy making millions in Hollywood. So
making millions in Hollywood. You know.
I was going to say, I don't know if you guys remember back to Raw 500, and the only big thing I remember from that show was CM Punk's heel turn. That was what was it? His heel turn. I think is that it was he had the match with Cena, show interfered, and then Punk attacked Cena from behind afterwards, and it was just like, okay, that was like the earth-shattering thing that happened there. I don't think there's going to be any earth-shattering thing story-wise happening on Raw 25. You're just going to get familiar faces showing up, and it'll be a nice little nostalgia thing, but I'm not expecting anything anything major.
No, I don't. I think that when they did the 20, remember when they did the countdown after, what was it, Raw?
Mm-hmm.
I think that was more exciting than what we're going to get. That little highlight reel. I don't really see anything that big now. Unfortunately, we don't have wrestlers that are that big. And we also don't have things that are going down that's like an oh my God moment.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we have Braun lifting trucks. That's really not something that's amazing anymore. Brock Lesnar, I mean, he's not even there anymore. It's just not good. So you're bringing back a whole bunch of guys. That's going to be great, but I don't think that that's going to be something that's memorable. Half of the people that I want can't even wrestle anymore just because their bodies are breaking down.
And I was going to say the big takeaway from that is to understand that the timing of this is that this episode is right before Royal Rumble, and I don't think they're going to do anything that's going to take away from the attention of the Royal Rumble itself.
Very good point. Yeah, very, very, very solid point. And let me just make a quick comment. I think that you said it best, Dana. The highlight in what you said is that the stars are not big anymore. And that is specifically the fault of WWE because they haven't been building the talent to the level that you actually would look at them like a star. Now, what they're doing with Braun is great. But if it doesn't lead to him eventually getting the title, then it won't really matter. But yeah,
but even
they had all. Well, go ahead.
Even basic storylines. Remember when we had like kidnapped Stephanie and married her and stole her away from Tess? Like stuff like that. Just basic storyline. It was like, oh my God. Even the whole thing with Lita and Matt Hardy. That was like, they always came out and was trying to kill each other. Even that weird thing with Lita and the baby, Snitsky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So even something corny as Vince McMahon getting blown up in the limo. We don't have that anymore. Everything is just so basic and boring.
It's funny that to link with that is that they pointed a lot of that out on that special that they put on WWE Network, the top 25 moments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. What people picked were those moments when, Vince McMahon was in the hospital and then Sacco debuted. Remember, it was like, hey, it's me, Mr. Sacco. And then Steve Austin coming in and shoving that thing up this guy's ass. And I mean, a lot of those crazy moments are with the beer truck, when Steve Austin came out. Those type of moments, we don't have those anymore.
Even with celebrities, because there's a lot of celebrity moments as well. Remember Mike Tyson was basically,
Mike Tyson.
He launched the whole thing of Austin 316. That was the whole reason for me to watch. It's like, oh my God, they don't have that even with celebrities now. So it's boring. So I can't even see the show will just be like, oh yeah, that's great. And that's it.
What you get now is a wrestler gets their face put in a stack of pancakes. That is what you get. as far as like hardcore like things. It's just
Well, hey, they got to make it kid friendly, right? So that's why they don't try to do all this other stuff, the over the top, like we know with like let's take for example one of your favorites, Val Venus. All the stuff they did with this guy, I enjoyed the comedy of all the stuff that they did with this guy behind the scenes, the stuff he was getting involved with, the right to censor. All this other stuff is just not there now, so it's a different environment, I guess.
It is. We don't have factions. Remember, APA, we don't have that.
Yeah, you're right.
So
you don't have
just
an interesting and engaging mid card. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Dana.
Well,
no, I was saying like that. What do we have now? Fandango and Brizongo, or whatever his name is, doing some weird Stranger Things. It's just so bad compared to what we had.
You know what it is? It's just too much going on. I mean, they have a very deep roster. If you count all the shows, 205 and NXT and all the other things that are going behind the scenes, it's just so much going on, and it's just not enough creativity and time put into all these characters. There's just too much, and for what Vince and the others higher ups are trying to do, they're still trying to make money. Yes, they want to put all these people on, they're paying them and stuff, but you still want to give people what they came to see, meaning the big names. So yes, we could say we want more creativity. There's other guys in the back deserving a chance, this and that. But when it comes to the bottom line and when it comes to the merch and things like that, there's certain people that need to be put up there, and it sucks, but it's a tough thing to do. It's a tough decision to make on who gets the push. And that's why it also hurt when Vince was on Steve Austin's podcast a long time ago. We talking about, they need to grab that brass ring and really want it. What do you mean? So you mean like another CM Punk pipe bomb where they just take it upon themselves, or like when Steve Austin took it upon himself to talk about how his 316 and just because he's pissed about certain things, he didn't like that gimmick. But that's it. It's like you basically telling people to go against what they're told to do, and then in turn they could get fired for that. Be like, hey, I listened to you. No, I didn't like what you said. You're gone. You know what I mean? It's like, so what do? You're in a tough spot. When it comes financially, I mean, yeah, there's a lot of great promotions out there where you can make some good money. You got Ring of Honor, you got PWG, you got a few other ones that are coming up. But, I mean, when it comes to big money, WWE is right there, cream of the crop. Of course, you can go to New Japan, but then you got to go overseas and you got to compete on that level. And the whole young boy thing, I mean, if they don't know you, it's not going to be easy. So I can understand why a lot of guys stay in WWE. Even though they're not getting the big push, even though the product's not there. I mean, look at Ascension, best example. They had a huge push, in NXT. And then when they show up on, was it SmackDown? Was it on SmackDown or Raw? I forgot where they debuted. SmackDown. And it's like their first match. JBL was burying them. And we already know who's in his headset. So I'm like, yo, that's like a smack in the face. And that was it. It never kicked off for them. They never became title contenders. They were just jobbers, and it's sad. Yeah, the gimmick's kind of old and played out, but they could still work. They were good workers, and they're still there. Look what they're doing now. The whole Breeze, Dango, and all that stuff. It's sad, but they're doing it because it's money. So,
absolutely correct. And since you mentioned SmackDown, we're gonna just shift right over to pretty much if you guys had anything that you liked or didn't like on SmackDown. I would like to go first and just say this. Obviously, I know that they rushed the whole U.S. title tournament, but I don't have a problem with the result of that tournament because I was very curious to see what they were going to do with Bobby Roode. I don't really think they've done much with him yet, to be honest. He had the little feud with Dolph Ziggler, and Dolph Ziggler will probably show up again at some point to rekindle that feud. But this gives me a little bit of some hope to maybe what they can do for him. I mean, I don't think the U.S. title is, it's not as valuable as it may have been in the past, but it's still, I guess, by them giving him a belt, they are elevating him. So I have some hope for that. But yeah, that's the only real highlight that I had from SmackDown that I enjoyed. How about you, Adam? Did you have anything that you liked or disliked?
From which one? I'm sorry, I just missed out.
Oh, SmackDown Live.
Oh, the SmackDown. No. Not so much. I was still drawing a blank because I watched it and I'm like trying to think what was it that I really got into. There was a moment on something that, the change up of the MMA girl. No, forget the U.S. title.
Oh, no.
Forget that. That wasn't the key point. That was upsetting because I was like, all right, fine, we want Rude and the whole thing, but that wasn't it. What stood out to me was the change up for the diva, the one that just came from NXT, and they took the cornrows out. Am I mixing that up?
Sonya Deville.
Sonya Deville.
She has straight hair now instead.
Yeah, they put all this makeup and stuff. I don't know. It's just, and they just brought back that whole thing that they did with Ruby Riott, adding the extensions, to give her long hair, and that stood out to me. I'm like, why do they have to do this? What's the need to have this long hair?
Well, hold on a second. Sonya Deville is on Raw.
I know she's on Raw. I got it mixed up because of Ruby Riott. Because Ruby Riott's there, and they did it to her. And I noticed it first with Ruby Riott when she came up, and then now I saw it with Sonya, and it just threw me off. But yeah, I just got sidetracked because that's what I was thinking of when memorable. But yeah, with this guy winning the belt so quickly right before going into pay-per-view, it's like a scramble. I don't get it. I don't get why they felt the need to make sure he had a belt going into the Rumble, unless they have something special for his entrance. I don't know.
Hey, I don't know either. And I don't know if there's going to be a rematch because I believe that, they said that it was a timing issue, right? They didn't want to run over, so they was trying to get rid of some of these matches before the pay-per-view.
But it felt so rushed. It's like, what's the reason for the rush?
It's strange because there's still one more SmackDown before the Rumble, right?
Yeah. Next week.
Yeah,
well, maybe something major will happen on that SmackDown. Yeah, we'll see. How about you, Ricky? Was there anything that stood out to you? I know you didn't watch much of it. I know you knew about the title match, but
yeah, so no, that's correct. I didn't watch much of it, but there wasn't much of it anyway. Like there were maybe 3 things that happened the whole show, I think. And Bobby Roode winning the title was the standout thing. It was a little bit of a surprise because sure as heck wasn't expecting that match to happen that night. I was fully expecting Roode versus Jinder, and there was part of me thinking like, oh, they're just going to give it to Jinder and have him have that belt until WrestleMania, have him drop it there. Kind of as a little thank you to him for his run with the WWE title. But I guess not. They're going full in with Bobby Roode for however long this title run goes for. But now I'm starting to think about it, why they're rushing this thing, because you got to wonder, where the heck is Dolph Ziggler these days?
He was supposed to come back. They said like a week after that, and that didn't happen. So who knows?
Well,
who knows? They have to be planning something for him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So
comes in the Rumble and he wins the Rumble. Bam! Nope, not happening.
Ooh, no, it's
yeah, no, it's not happening.
No, I'm good on that. But yeah, there was that, and then oh God, what? No, seriously, what else happened on SmackDown? I'm trying to think.
Well, that was the thing because it felt just put together quickly. The whole show didn't make sense. It just didn't feel right. It didn't have a flow to it.
That was the main highlight because they literally had 2 matches.
Oh, I need you guys to kind of help me out here. Did they do a double turn with the Usos and Gable and Benjamin? Like, are Gable and Benjamin the heels?
Well,
no, not really. They're still
they're
cocky baby faces, but
okay, because their attack on the Usos from behind, and then just how they stood over them and talked smack to them, was kind of heelish, and so that's the thing. So like, I would say that the Usos are still the heels and all that stuff, but I can kind of feel how fans are kind of pull for the Usos because they're a little bit more entertaining with their current gimmick. And the thing with Gable and Benjamin, just like, now you see, like I watched that episode almost as a neutral in a way, because it's like, oh, if I didn't know any better, I would think that they were the bad guys. So I don't know if that's the direction they're going, or if I'm just misinterpreting things. But I was just curious about that whole thing. But yeah, I was a little surprised. Basically SmackDown. My takeaway was being surprised about them rushing that U.S. title match. So they've got to have something planned for next week, and probably with Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see. I just was gonna say I'm very curious to see what happens with the Usos, because you know that Jey Uso had a DWI and got arrested for that recently. So I don't know if that will impact
method acting, that's all.
Yeah,
method acting.
There you go.
Yeah, well, yeah, we'll see. Okay, Dana, did you have anything that you liked or disliked from SmackDown?
What I hated the most out of anything, and I think that it took up more from the show than anything else, was those handycam promos. That darn camera thing, selfie thing. I hated that so much. It felt forced. And I think that it took up more than the whole show. And, Bobby Roode winning, good for him. But at the same time, I was just confused about it. It just felt like it could have went for like another week or so. So I didn't like that. Yeah. Just forgettable.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I could think of is that, and I'm surprised really that, well, I'm not surprised, but I think they have to do something big at the next SmackDown. If Raw is going to be this blowout show, something has to happen. I get it that it's not an anniversary thing for SmackDown, but you got to do something. You got to draw that interest. So I guess it would make sense if Dolph Ziggler showed up. Let's say Bobby Roode is doing his whole little thing in the ring. I'm the champ now, blah, 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 blah. And then he comes out, and I don't know why, but if I had this feeling like if he does come back, he's going to have a haircut. He's going to have a haircut. He's going to have short hair or something. It's going to be a new look. I picture something like that. New gimmick.
Hey, it's possible, but are people going to be interested? And if he does come back, you're talking about Dolph Ziggler, is he going to come back with no theme music? Like he had that whole gimmick going on, or is he just, I don't know how they're going to handle that. We'll see. I do want to ask one question before we move on to the next topic. And this is related to SmackDown because we had someone in the chat ask this question also. So maybe you guys are aware that there was some information that came out about Fastlane, the Fastlane pay-per-view, in which they pretty much said, the main event is going to be AJ Styles defending the title against Randy Orton, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, and Shinsuke Nakamura. So, that information is still out there, and that's still pretty much being heavily advertised as what the match is going to be. My question is, because we had this question in the chat, is, there have been rumors speculating that Daniel Bryan will be in the Royal Rumble and win the Royal Rumble. So somebody asked, how do we think that rumor is actually going to happen, or is there no chance in hell that it's going to happen?
No
chance, man. No chance.
No chance.
I have a better chance of winning the Royal Rumble than he does. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, hey, I figured, when I think about the fact that it is in New Orleans where Daniel Bryan won the title, I thought, well, yeah, if he didn't have the concussion stuff, maybe. But no, I don't think it's going to happen because they keep saying, well, no, our doctors will not clear him. If they don't clear him, he's not coming back. So it's probably not going to happen.
I feel like... I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Dana.
I was just saying it'll be a nice surprise, but I see that happening at the same time as CM Punk will come back. So that's a never.
What I was going to say was that the feeling that I have is that they may have Daniel Bryan come back to wrestle at WrestleMania, but it'll be against Shane McMahon. Because Shane McMahon, now I guess he has to have a match every freaking WrestleMania. So, and they're building this whole thing where they disagreeing with each other. And, we're not that far away from WrestleMania itself. So that's where I feel like it might be headed. If they allow Bryan to come back, it's going to be against Vince's son. So just something to consider. And Bryan might have to do the job because Shane has lost his last 2 matches at WrestleMania. So that might be the condition of like, yeah, you got to do the job to Shane because, he's gone and jumped off damn cages and shit. He needs to have a win. His children need to see him win. Do the job for my boy. And Bryan might be like, all right, fine. I've had plenty of moments. Let me give this one to him, and that's it. But that's just a wild theory. One thing I was going to say real quickly, going back to SmackDown, I know that they sell merch, but please, for the love of God, break up the New Day. I am so tired of them. It's time.
You know what? Thank you for saying that. And I know Dana's a New Day fan, so but go ahead, Dana. I'll let you.
I am so tired of them. Like, it was great when it first started, and now it's just dead, and it needs to just die quickly. I am so sick of them, and they're not even good anymore. It's just the same thing over and over again, and now with pancakes. I don't like it.
Yeah, and I did see the video circulating of the Jimmy Fallon performance that they gave along with Triple H and Stephanie. I'm definitely tired of New Day. I guess that was an entertaining segment for some, but I think I'm a little worn out with New Day. So hopefully they have other plans. I thought they were initially going to break them up at some point and give Big E some type of singles run, but I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they definitely need to do something with them. But we'll see. So, I think that's it for SmackDown. I did see that we had someone else in the chat mention that Nakamura is the favorite to win the Royal Rumble. If that fatal 5-way happens at Fastlane, I don't know if that is the case, because the winner of the Royal Rumble wins a main event at WrestleMania. So, I mean, I don't know, but we'll get into the Royal Rumble predictions and so on and so forth on the next show next week. So I'm not going to talk about that right now, but let's go to the next topic. And I don't know if you guys have anything else to say about this. As Dana already mentioned earlier, we did find out that Goldberg is going to be in the Hall of Fame this year and is going to be inducted by Paul Heyman, which I found very interesting. I don't know if you guys had any comments you wanted to make on that. Adam, you're muted.
I'm glad he's going into the Hall of Fame. It's deserving. He was nothing special. He was a gimmick. That's a true gimmick right there, and it worked out. We've seen a lot of these undefeated streak type of things, but his was really hyped up, and he had the cool entrance, and I don't know why he had the police entourage in WCW, but he did. I guess somebody had threatened to kick his ass. Who knows? But it was good. It worked out for him. So I'm glad he's there.
So, how about you, Dana?
Well, see, I was a kid when that whole streak thing happened. So for me, he has a special place in my heart. So I'm happy to see him go. But as I'm older, it's kind of like, for what? Like, I understand, like, he's responsible for, he was during the Monday Night War situation. And I get that. And he was a gimmick that really did work. And I remember that Hulk Hogan Goldberg match. So much so, and I remember how didn't they botch it originally? Like, something happened with the pay-per-view. It should have been a pay-per-view match was the situation. And instead it was on Monday. Oh God, I can't even remember the name of the show. I forgot what WCW was called back then. Anyway, that
Monday Nitro.
Yes, Nitro. That match should have been on pay-per-view, but as someone who was basically a kid, unable to get money to watch a pay-per-view, I was very grateful for that. And to me, that will always be a part of my childhood. So I'm very happy for him. And he wanted to come back, and he came back for that very reason. And we got that nice little return. So good for him. I have nothing negative to say, except for I don't understand why he's being inducted by Paul Heyman. Honestly, if everything would have went perfectly, I would have preferred him to be inducted by Hulk Hogan. That's just me.
Yeah, I agree. How about you, Ricky? Any thoughts?
Oh yeah, when I think of Goldberg, I think about the late '90s, and the Monday Night Wars and everything, and Goldberg being a huge part of that. For those of you who may not know, Rich and I go way back to our high school days, and I want to say that I was visiting your pad when Goldberg won the belt off Hogan. I think we were watching that episode in the kitchen TV that was playing there, and I still remember that. That was the Georgia Dome. Pretty crazy moment, and so like for me, like Goldberg was WCW that time. Like if you don't include the NWO and all that, he was a phenomenon, and yeah. So I think for me, it's a little weird seeing him go into the WWE Hall of Fame, considering that he made his mark in WCW. But that's with the understanding that WWE owns WCW now, so it's kind of all encompassing. But he's definitely, even though his run was kind of short, it's well deserved. It's much in the way that The Rock's WWE career was pretty short, but it was Hall of Fame caliber, and I hope that someday he gets his spot in there. But yeah, Goldberg getting in there is pretty big. And the fact that they've named him, I think he was the first inductee of this class, if I'm not mistaken, means that there should be some more interesting names to come. So it has me really curious on who's next. I just realized that was his phrase, is who's next. So that worked out really well for me there. But yeah, no, I'm happy for him. I agree that I wish it was Hogan inducting him, because Hogan was the one that dropped the belt to him. I'm sure it was reluctantly, but still did that. And Heyman really didn't really enter the picture until this past year, unless you include that clusterfuck of a match with Goldberg and Lesnar before Lesnar left the company. But yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. And we do know what's next for Goldberg. That is retirement. So it's good. It's good. I'm glad.
Oh, New Japan Wrestling.
We'll say what? New Japan Wrestling. Yeah, I heard that rumor also.
And he's looking interested in them too, so he might make an appearance.
Hey, well, it worked for Chris Jericho, so maybe it can work for Goldberg too. I don't know yet. I know he complained a lot about all getting in shape and getting doing these other matches he did most recently. So I don't know if he wants to go to New Japan and try to put himself through anything else. But hey, you see, that can always change. I did want to ask a quick question before I move on to the next topic. So, do you guys have any thoughts as to who else might be getting inducted to the Hall of Fame this year? I mean, we obviously don't really know any other details yet because Goldberg is the first one, but do you have any thoughts as to who might get the call or who should get the call this year? And I'll let you go first, sir. Well, Ricky, if you have any ideas.
Well, I mean, when the heck is Owen Hart going to get in there? I mean, I don't know if it's his widow is preventing it, but he's long overdue. I don't recall the British Bulldog getting inducted. He's another one that should get in. China, another one who absolutely deserves it, and it's a damn shame that this would be postmortem. Postmortem, or what's it? Not post or humus. Post. I forget the term, but after she died. Well, it would have been cool for Daniel Bryan to get it if he was really, truly, absolutely 100% done with wrestling, because this would be in New Orleans, and that's where his brightest moment was. But I don't think he's done yet, so I'm not sure that he would be one for that. there's probably a ton of other names that are deserving that I can't really think of right now. But I'm intrigued to see who else could get in. What other names can you guys think of?
You have any names in mind, Dana?
Let's see. China was already taken. I would have loved to see that, but I seriously doubt that they will hold a grudge. Well, who I want, we know is not going to ever get it. Benoit, sorry, he deserves it, but that's definitely not happen. That'll happen on the same day as China. But let's see. Oh gosh, everything was already said. I really can't think at the moment. Maybe Bischoff. As crazy it is, Bischoff, he's basically kind of responsible for WWE success. So Bischoff, did they do Michaels? Yeah, they did Michaels. Yeah. Bischoff. I'm gonna go with that.
I'll say that if any of you guys in the chat have any ideas of who can do it, feel free to share those, and we'll.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned that because someone in the chat just said Hornswoggle. Yeah, we know. He definitely ain't getting called in for that.
Greatest midget of all time.
Yeah.
Well, he's Vince's son. Remember?
Yeah.
That'd be nice. Also, Dudley's. Are they still wrestling? They're not wrestling anymore. So Dudley's.
That's a good one, and I did hear a rumor about them potentially getting called and getting that honor this year. I know they're going to actually be at Raw 25, so I guess we'll find out at some point. I think Ricky has already said a lot of good ones. Well, go ahead, Dana.
Also the guy who played Shockmaster, he deserves it.
I forget his name, but he was also Tugboat. He's actually his health is failing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be cool to get him in there before anything happens. But here's I'm cheating right now. I'm looking at a random article of possibilities, and one name that we probably all should have thought of is The Undertaker.
Oh gosh.
Well, hold on a second. Yeah, The Undertaker, yeah, but what all of these rumors about Undertaker versus John Cena, is that match going to happen at WrestleMania, or is that just
last year was the time to do that, if anything, and they completely botched it by giving it to Roman Reigns, because they wanted Roman Reigns, because Vince wanted Roman Reigns to end Undertaker's career. So I don't think that match is going to happen. Fortunately, I think Undertaker's he's a prime candidate for the Hall of Fame at any moment. Batista would be an interesting one. It'll draw a lot of publicity, that's for sure, especially given his recent success in Hollywood.
No, I heard they're bringing him back.
That they're bringing back Batista? Does he even want to come back?
Well, it's not going to be long, but it's going to be like, something like a Goldberg type of situation.
I know that he said that he wants a final match against Triple H. And obviously it all depends on creative and whether or not because as he has said in his interviews many times, he does not like WWE creative and how they take control over everything. So if they don't want to do it on his terms, he may just say, well, forget it. I'm not going to bother coming back.
Unless he comes back as Dax the Destroyer.
Well, there you go.
Great.
If they do something like that, then I think the fans will be behind him, But if he comes back as, the Batista that everyone hates, not happening.
Yeah. Well, so I agree. No, so Adam, I just wanted to catch you up real quick. I had asked if there's anyone who you think will get inducted to the Hall of Fame or you want to see get inducted to the Hall of Fame this year. I don't know if you had Rob Van Dam. Oh yeah, that's good.
Rob Van Dam was one of the DLC characters for this 2K18 game, and they didn't really advertise that. Him and Batista. It was so weird. I'm like, well, that's out of nowhere. They just like, we got these two guys. Just throw them in. There you go. DLC. But we know Rob Van Dam has those concussion issues and stuff going on now. And supposedly that's the reason why he can't wrestle, or he thinks he can't wrestle anymore at WWE. And I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up too at next Monday. But if he can't do anything, I mean, everybody's going to want to see him perform. Like those other old timers, no one really, but you're not expecting it, but you would expect it from RVD. But yeah, I would like to see him in the Hall of Fame. And a long shot, not happening because he didn't do much, but my favorite wrestler of all time, Sabu. So I would love to see Sabu in there. It's never happening.
It's not happening.
I know, but
well, if that did happen, you can be rest assured of one thing, Adam. He will be pointing to the sky, thanking God. Oh yes, I got inducted.
I came so close to getting that tattooed on my leg. I have an energy guy on one side, and on the other one, I was like, I wanted to get just the whole image of Sabu pointing up. I still might get that. Stay tuned. It's 2018. It's too early, but yeah, he's my favorite. He blew my mind. First time I saw Sabu, I was just like, mind blown. I was like, I've never seen anything this crazy. And I saw death matches and stuff. I've had those tapes back in the day, but never. I mean, even now when we watch wrestlers, when we watch even like the Young Bucks and all of them, they're doing all their hot spots. They planned it out. It's like you see them setting things up. You see the other guy, if he's outside the ring, he's getting ready, the flyer and the catcher thing. So when Sabu did his triple jump with the chair, there was none of that. He would grab a chair, he would put it in, he would run, and he would just throw his body. He didn't care. As if like, I don't give a shit. I got to hit these spots, whether you catch me or not. This is how it's going down. And he paid the price. He broke his jaw. He ripped his bicep in a barbed wire. He's had some horrible injuries. But because of that, it was so crazy. Doing the move over the top, the rope over the top, over the barricade. Remember the railing? He was the first to do that. Doing those jumps. Then Rob Van Dam did it. Now I just watched Impact yesterday. I'm the only one. Me and like 5 other people watched that. And they got some new guy, Damon something. Fuck, I forgot his last name. But this kid did a front flip from within the ring, from the rope, like a springboard flip over the barricade into the crowd. If he messed up, if he even just came short back of the neck or his back hits that guardrail, he's done. I couldn't believe that. They showed it twice. The people were amazed. I don't know. I have to look him up, find out, because maybe he wrestles under a mask somewhere else. But this kid was amazing. And to see that was just crazy. I couldn't believe he did it.
I also like Sabu's willingness to attack the fans when he has to. He just doesn't care.
There you go. Yeah, if you get a little, it was him and Shane Douglas, right? I think they were having a match, and somebody started attacking Shane, and then Sabu just, that's it. I'll give you the fist. He brings the pain. Oh man, Sabu. Oh man, he has a GoFundMe for anybody who wants to go help with his medical bills. You can go on GoFundMe and type in Sabu. He's up there. He's got a lot of medical bills, man. A lot. So
I agree.
Doesn't surprise me.
Let me just say real quick. We you guys mentioned him attacking the fans. We cannot endorse that type of behavior on this show because instantly when you said that brought me back to one of my most favorite brawls. The brawl in the Palace between the Pacers and the Pistons. And I go back to listening to the commentator said Artest is in the stands. So yeah, we can't endorse that, but yeah, it was entertaining to watch, but that's not how this stuff should be going down.
The best one, I think, out of, we've seen a lot of run-ins. We've seen the famous one that the guy had a tape where Steve Austin was celebrating. Triple H was down and a fan hit Steve Austin, and Triple H just gets up and just goes to town on him. We've seen that one. But for me, the one that really stood out, I'm like, what the hell am I watching? Was WCW. and it was Macho Man was knocked down. Hulk Hogan was chained on the. He was handcuffed on the other side. I forgot who was kicking his ass. There was two people beating him up, and it was in a cage. All of a sudden, you just hear like something banging on the cage. The camera sort of pans, and there was a fan climbed the cage, jumped in. Macho Man, who's playing like he's knocked out, sees this, gets up with a punch. Boom! One punch. The guy drops. They already had opened up the gate, so security and stuff, and the refs they grab the guy out, and then Macho Man looks over and then goes right back into laying down and just plays off the rest of the story. And I thought that was hilarious because I mean, it was a quick reaction. Oh, you don't belong here, buddy. Boom. Punch to the jaw. The guy drops. You know, they open up the gate, they carry him out, and then Macho Man goes back on the ground.
I think it was in WCW where the referee beat up a fan that was coming into the ring. That was great.
Man, these fan invasions, man. I don't know. There was one recently, but they didn't do anything. It was in the UK. Remember that? It's like it was in WWE. A bunch of people just ran in and like waved their hands and then ran out like streakers. You know, and then ran out over the railing and left.
That's crazy. I gotta find that. I'm gonna find that footage of that Macho Man fan encounter.
Oh, I'll find it right now. Here we go.
All right, so I'll make a quick comment, but yeah, go ahead, Ricky, and then I'll do what I'll make my comment.
Okay, I was gonna say that one person that should definitely be in the Hall of Fame that definitely will not be in the Hall of Fame this year, and I don't know when he'll get in the Hall of Fame anytime soon, was someone that Dana mentioned earlier, Jim Johnston. Who is fired from his position. He's the composer of many of the iconic themes that we've heard in the old WWF and today's WWE. He changed the game, really, like, you know, with the entrances and all that stuff. And he made stars with his music, and he was a real great talent. And he's always deserved to be honored for his work. And I think it's a damn shame that things have ended the way it has. And I hope that it will get mended to some point where he'll get the praise and the honor that he truly deserves.
I agree with that. And let me make a quick comment. Now, since you mentioned him, do you think the person that should induct him in is the current guy making music for WWE? Would that be or would that be two different?
The two guys, the two guys who form CFO.
Yeah, there you go, CFO.
That band now is taking all the work. That's what's going on. They're just going in a new direction, and they're making they did Aleister Black and a few other ones. They did Paige.
You know who should do it is Jimmy Hart. Yeah, Jimmy Hart did some work for WCW. He composed some of the theme.
Oh, quick correction. I don't know how so I found it. It was a cage. It was a fan, and he did get attacked. They beat him up, but Macho Man wasn't. I gotta find it. Macho Man was there, but all right, there's gotta be another one. There must be two. But yeah, I just posted it, and then I'll post it in the live chat on YouTube. Or if anybody wants to find it, just type in WCW cage match fan run in or fan jumps into cage WCW.
Yeah, I gotta check that out. So I'll make a quick comment before I move on to the next topic. I will give a shout out to Eric Murrell in the chat because he said that the current rumors for the Hall of Fame, we already got Goldberg. He said Bam Bam Bigelow, Ivory, the Dudley Boys, which we mentioned, and Kid Rock. So
Kid Rock.
Yeah, that for the celebrity. You know, they gotta have their celebrity. You know, they already had Snoop Dogg that one year, and then they didn't do nothing with Sasha Banks that year. And we was at that.
Wu-Tang used to go to all the events.
Oh, well.
Wu-Tang was hardcore into the WWE. He used to always go to the events.
Maybe.
Motorhead should get it then.
Oh, well, I think did they already get it?
Passed away, and the guitarist just passed away too. So that's
well, I think Lenny already get an award though, right? He already got some recognition, I thought. Maybe not that. I'm not sure. I have to go back and check that. But
they should do instead. They should do like referees. I want to see Earl Hebner and his brother.
Yeah, Earl Hebner is the man. That's the guy is.
Also, Finkel. Did he get anything? He needs to get something.
Well, who?
Howard Finkel.
Oh yeah, Howard Finkel. Yeah, the Fink. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So hey, I guess it's possible. It's possible. We'll see. We'll see about that. One final name that I did want to throw in there, and this is obviously just for my personal reasons because I think at some point it will happen. It hasn't happened yet. It's happened to every one of his friends. It hasn't happened to him yet. I'm going to say X-Pac because I figure that's Triple H's boy. Everyone in that clique has got in there already. So X-Pac is the next one.
This is it.
I would think that's going to get it, but we'll see.
Yeah, it's inevitable. X-Pac will get in there. To appease all the boys. I did want to mention about Fink that he got inducted in 2009.
Oh, well.
See, okay, see, there you go. Yep.
Nope. Right, I found another one. It was WCW. Damn, WCW had a lot of fan run-ins, and it was a WCW Nitro. Macho Man was fighting Kevin Nash, beat him up, was painting something on his face, and a fan jumped in, and Macho Man went to town on him, and you just see him just wailing on this guy.
Well, did you see the one with Hogan and Macho Man with the fan as well?
Yeah, that was the one. That was the cage in the cage.
Okay.
Well, so hey, the fans.
There's been a few of them. Yeah, there've been a few.
That's a warning to the fans. They need to don't get involved with the matches. Just be entertained, but don't be a part of the show in that capacity anyway. That's funny. I'm gonna check that video out in a little while. But yeah, I want to move on to the next two topics because we have two other topics to get into. So this next topic. Obviously, we don't really know too much information about this story. All I know is I heard it starting earlier this week. And then I was like, well, that's interesting. And of course, this is about Dana's favorite wrestler, Roman Reigns.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, these allegations of the steroid thing. So you already mentioned the story to us earlier, Dana.
Fake news.
Oh, you said it's fake news? That's what it is? It's fake
know.
news?
I don't know. Well, let Dana say it because Dana, she's got his posters and stuff up on the wall, so she got a lot more to say about this.
No.
So
go
ahead.
No, I mean, I don't really believe it at all. WWE is pretty resilient with their testing, and they test all the time, and he seemed to pass every single one of their tests. And the guy is also like naming random actors as well as being a part of this steroid ring. He's also like Mark Wahlberg and Josh Duhamel and all these other people. And I'm like, no, I don't believe it. And the randomness of Roman Reigns. No, it's fake.
It's okay. I am perfectly fine with it because you know what? Wrestling's fixed. And I don't need to worry about some guy always winning and everyone's like, well, it's because of the roids. And it's like, it means diddly squat, okay? He could juice up to the gills. I don't care. The whole thing, and people are like, well, it causes a problem. Nope, there's been no proof for that. Yeah, they had problems with trauma and drugs and other things that lead to it, but just roids itself, there's so many different type of roids. For a long time, a lot of people were on roids, and then one state says, oh, you know what? That's illegal. All right, then, there it's gone. But then there's other people that are using in other states, and they're perfectly fine. They're like, oh, it gives them an advantage. I bet you there's a bunch of baseball players that do steroids, and they don't hit home runs all the time. You still need talent. So I don't see the big deal when it comes to wrestlers doing this. If it happens, it happens, whatever. But even that, he is the big dog. Big dog needs steroids to get big. Vince is okay with it. Vince is no stranger to steroids. He's cool with it. He didn't invest all this money just to have some wackadoo doctor say, hey, I put him on a list and I hooked him up with some stuff. Not happening. They're going to let it go. They're not even going to bring it up. Not even going to bring it up. They're going to need proof. They're going to need some hardcore proof. I don't think this guy has it.
Hey, wait, Adam. So, you said you're going to have the doctor put him on the list. Is that doctor's name Jericho?
No, Jericho. Jericho's on steroids too. Everybody's on steroids. Throw everybody under the bus. That's what I would do. They're like, Roman, you know what? They said you're on steroids. You know what? Everybody's on steroids. Even Punk. I'll throw names out of the wazoo. I just throw Okay, who it is. I'll be like, you know what? Shayna is on steroids. Sasha Banks on Bailey is juicing hard in the back. I saw her in the bathroom right now. They're all juicing. I throw everybody under the bus. You want to investigate? Get everybody. Get everybody. But you know what? Nothing's gonna happen to him. Nothing's gonna happen to him. Because they, like I said, they just need more proof. Just because some doctor does a name drop, and it's mainly just to get the attention off of him, most likely. It's like, hey, I'll tell you a bunch of names if you just walk away. I'm like, for what? For what? Why? When did that become a serious crime to juice? I just don't get it. We got people killing other people, and they deserve to go to prison, and do those type of things, especially when it comes to wrestling. We all know it's sports entertainment, so it's not like, oh, we're going to put a little asterisk next to his title win. No, we're not. No, we are not. So it is what it is. It's just one of those things. I mean, that's it. I just don't see the big deal, and I don't think anything's going to happen. I think we're not going to hear about WWE's not going to punish him or do any of that stuff, unless they caught him with a lot of it and he was selling it or doing other stuff with drugs, like with Jeff. Remember, man, I thought Jeff was going away for life. I thought, you remember that? Everybody remember that, Jeff Hardy?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Because that was a big thing when they did somebody, I forgot what, they found a lot of drugs, a lot of those type of prescription drugs. I was like, yo, we're never going to see him again, but hey, look, see, anything can happen in wrestling. He went from being all drugged up and almost hurting wrestlers and TNA in the ring to coming back and winning a tag title at a WrestleMania.
So that means, yeah, you said anything can happen, so that means
anything can happen. But but juicing is okay. Don't worry about it.
So because you said anything can happen, that also means the CM Punk can also make a return.
Oh, they're right. 2 more years. 2 more years. He has one more UFC fight, not UFC, MMA fight, because we don't know if it's gonna be in the UFC. He's got one more MMA fight. Once he takes a whooping from that, he'll be like, oh shit. Wake up call. I shouldn't be doing this. Yeah, he's got money. His wife got that new TV deal, so she's going to be doing TV and stuff. But you know what? Time heals all wounds. If somebody would have told me that Ultimate Warrior was going to get inducted in the Hall of Fame, he was going to get a statue, he's going to come out and give some amazing promo and die the next day, I'm like, you're full of shit. None of that's happening. That's an alternate universe. You and your alternate facts about life, because that shit ain't never happening. And it did. It all happened. We saw the Ultimate Warrior. Think about that. We saw him come back.
A steroid user himself.
Yeah, juiced. You know what I mean? They did a deep. Think about. All right, just think about this. Think about if any one of you went to your job and you found out. Guess what? What? Yo, they made a DVD about you, man, while you were out. Wait, about me? What? Wait, what's in it? Oh, it's about how bad you do your job. It's 2 hours just talking about how bad you do your job. You want to go sit at your desk right now and we'll just make believe it didn't happen? No. So when that came out, that Ultimate Destruction DVD, and everybody told me how they didn't want to work with him and that he was going to hurt them and all that, I was like, there is definitely no way he's ever coming back. But he did. And he got inducted and all these great things happened. And now we got the Warrior Award. His wife works there full time. Anything could happen, right? The world can flip upside down in an alternate universe through a vortex in wrestling. And that's what I love about it. I love it. It's better than a novella. It's better than anything because it doesn't matter. Guy can leave on horrible terms. He can hit the boss. He can do whatever. And he will be back because it's all about what's best for business. Triple H, that's the one thing that he said that's not part of a gimmick or anything. That's the truth for the business. If you could bring us money and new money, water under the bridge. Everything is water under the bridge. What, Kurt Angle? You lied about all these other issues. You said you were going to go take care of yourself and you went straight to TNT. Remember to Impact, TNA, and you go and you do a shoot promo on us. Don't worry about it. You're back. What, Booker T? You went, did the same thing. So talking all this trash stuff because you failed the wellness clause 3 times. Remember that? The wellness, he failed it 3 times. He got fired. So shooting on this and saying that he's going to write a book and talk all this smack about all the wrestlers. Next you know, he's back. He's a commentator.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You're 100% right at everything you said because I did hear that Del Rio recently apologized.
Of course. And you know what? It's what's best for business. If they think he's still marketable, yeah. Why not? They're like, you know what? We'll bring you back for some, Oh, here's another name that I'm surprised. And I still think this might happen, and no one's bringing this up. I haven't heard anybody bringing this up. Rey Mysterio. Rey Mysterio could easily show up there on Monday or in the Royal Rumble. That remember back in the day when they used to do those surprises with the Royal Rumble?
Well,
I could easily see that. I could see that. I could see him coming in.
Well, you have to remember what happened a couple of years in the Royal Rumble where Rey Mysterio came out and nothing but boos. So maybe if he does come back, he shouldn't come back in the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that wasn't his fault. Everyone was expecting D-Bry at number 30, and they set Mysterio up to fail there. So.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Oh, and I gotta make another correction from last week when I talked about it. I got it mixed up with the NXT guys. They did not jump into the Rumble. They were the two NXT guys from Sanity. They were in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. They did the Andre
Killian Dane.
Yeah, Killian Dane and Wolf. I think it's just Killian Dane.
I think it's just Killian Dane. Yeah.
Yeah. And I had said that he was in the Rumble. It wasn't that. He was at that event, but he wasn't in. No, he did the big one. He did the Andre Giant Battle Royal thing.
What was I gonna say?
But yeah,
Roman Reigns, guilty, okay. and honestly, so what? So what? The Hogan did it, and he's revered as one of the most iconic wrestlers of all time.
Remember, there's a rule. Here's the other rule, and we all know this too. WWE don't test part-timers. Just saying. They don't test part-timers, and we learned that.
That was the point I was going to make. No part-timers, no executives. Triple H.
There you go. Triple H, yep. So they are very loose on that. So they can't say, the part-timers, they know what they're doing. So they'll be like, don't worry about it. We got you. You're okay.
Brock Lesnar, he can't be punished because he's part-timer. Yep. Triple H can't be punished. Vince obviously can't be punished. It's his own company. Yep. They could be very selective of it.
And Trump said he got a favorite wrestler, and it's Roman Reigns. So nothing bad's going to happen to him. He's a Hall of Famer. He was a general manager. He's a big-time wrestling fan. That's one of the other things he watches besides all the other news. And since he likes Roman Reigns, just pick up the phone, be like, nope, nothing's happening. Don't worry. I'll give him a part, and he'll be straight. So that's it. So we know he is a big dog. He's golden. Nothing going to happen.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that information. That's very interesting.
Yeah. He still watches the product, man. He still watches.
Yeah, but Roman Reigns
you remember that he genuinely thought that Vince McMahon got blown up in a limousine.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Oh my goodness.
Well, I will just say this, and we can move on unless Dana wants to add anything. I will just say this in regards to Roman Reigns, the statement that he gave. I actually thought that was actually a good statement to say. I've already went through what I went through 2 years ago, and that part of my life is over with, and I've been tested since then and haven't had any issues. So I think that was the right statement to say. Whether or not it's true,
was it pot that was last year? Whatever, it was pot, right? He was smoking some weed or something like that.
I think it was
Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
So it was around summer 2016.
Because that was when Cena came out and did that whole thing. Well, your piss is gonna be dirty or something. Remember when he was doing those shoots on him in the ring?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he brought it up. It was something like I don't know if it was weed. It was something that came up.
It was what might have been the synthetic weed. I mean, I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't think it was a steroid. I think it was some kind of. I think it was weed.
Oh, what I think it was? It might have been Adderall. I think that's what it was. Yeah, it was Adderall.
That's it. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see what happens, but yeah, if it's true, like you said, Adam, so what? Doesn't make a difference. We already know Vince has his back 100%. So
that's it, man.
That's all that matters for Roman Reigns.
That's him. And speaking of Adderall, wasn't that thing with Adam Rose, and they let him go for that?
Yeah.
So
well, that and the guess the things with his
domestic abuse stuff. Yeah, that was.
But I think that happened after, right? Wasn't the abuse after?
He was suspended for the Adderall, I think. But the domestic abuse stuff happened after, and that was it for him. He was done. Yeah.
What's his name is dealing with that too? The guy from 205, Rich Swann, where he supposedly kidnapped his wife. She dropped all the charges and stuff, but I don't know if he's coming back. I don't know if they'll bring him back for that.
If he doesn't get arrested and he comes back, he needs to get rid of the dancing gimmick. I'm tired of the stereotypes.
I hate
that. Tired of the stereotypes. All these guys, they always got a dancing, juke and jive.
Yeah. That's what I hate about the New Day. That's what I hate about the New Day.
What we say, Dana?
That's why the New Day is still around.
They're there for Vince's amusement.
They like the blacks dancing.
but the thing with the New Day is that they picked that. That was them saying, "Can we do something?" Yeah, and they're doing the silliness with the unicorn, all that stuff, And so it's a laughing stock. I hate it too, though. I hate it. You can't take them serious. It's like why is that? Why do they always have to come out and do all this song and dance and all that? Not right. Yeah. Now they got Apollo Crews doing all that shit too.
And Titus.
They do? Oh,
yeah.
Titus.
Yeah, Apollo Crews is supposed to be the guy that you look at. Wait, maybe this guy could be a world champion one day. That will never happen now. No. Never.
And remember, the whole reason why Bobby Lashley left is because of a lot of the racism and the stereotypes that they were playing, and he didn't want any part of that. So he was like, "I'm done." And the person that he had problems with, which is Hayes, is still on creative. So that's an issue. People are like, "Oh, well, he'll go back." Maybe for money. Like I said, it's all about business. But man. That's unless he gets a contract like Brock, where no bullshit. I got set certain things I'm going to be doing, and some shit I'm not going to be doing, and I'm not working with this guy. Unless it's something like that, And I think it could work. But again, from what I read, his contract is up in February. A lot of people talking about, oh, he's going to be in the Rumble. It'll be a whole big thing. I don't think it's going to happen. If his contract's, unless they pay out or do something, but he's up in February. The only person that got the full release was EC3.
Yeah.
He got his full release. So then, I don't know if you guys read this. He had an indie show, an indie event that was scheduled for the Rumble, and that got canceled. He got pulled from that one. It's still going on, but he's not on it. So that could represent something.
Yeah, because it's the same day as the Rumble. So I think he definitely will be in that match.
And he's on good terms with WWE. When he was in NXT, he had no issues. They just didn't have anything for him. That's a whole song. Well, creative had nothing for you, buddy. And they had nothing for him. But he has the copyrights to EC3. People are like, oh, why is he going to use that? Why is he going to use that? Ethan Carter, then the whole Carter. No one knows. No one gives a shit. No one says Hunter Hearst Helmsley anymore. It's just Triple H. Nobody cares. It's just, shorthand. That's just his name. CM Punk. Chick Magnet Punk. No one says that. They just say CM Punk. Don't think twice about it. So they could just say EC3. People are going to be chanting EC3 even if they don't do it. If they give him a different name, right? People are going to do it. That's what these people do.
Is EC that well known though?
He was the man for Impact for a long time when they were still doing well, when they were on Spike TV, but I think he's up there. He's good on the mic. The guy can talk, and he has a great physique, and his face looks fake. He's got this thick jaw, and it's so weird, right? I'm telling you, if you look at him, you're like, yo, what's wrong with your face? He has like such a chiseled jawline, like it's crazy, but I mean, I think so. I think he's definitely from the fans, the indie fans, and then people that, especially the NXT audience, they'll definitely know. So if he shows up in the Rumble, does a little something, and then shows up on NXT, it'll be fine. I feel like that was the whole point of NXT. I think Triple H showed Vince that you don't have to rebrand every guy that you bring from indies and other promotions just so you can get the WWE universe, used to or comfortable with this person. There's people now that know the world is smaller now thanks to the internet. Back in the day, you had the pads, tapes, and stuff. Like, oh, who's that? That's Mick Foley. That's Cactus Jack. It's like, oh, now it's just a few clicks on YouTube, and there you go. You got all the info you need. And NXT proved it. When these guys start coming out and they're chanting their names and stuff, they know exactly who they are. And that's fine. And that's great because then that spreads, and then it'll spread to the main roster. Very few people move up. Like, look, hey, AJ Styles. AJ Styles made his whole name pretty much in TNA. WCW, he was there, but he wasn't the AJ that we know, what the AJ that's now. And they let him. He's probably the only TNA guy that they did that to because he went straight to the Rumble, remember? And he went straight to the main roster. He didn't go to NXT.
Exactly. You're right. So no, all good points. I want to move on to the next topic, but Dana, did you have anything else you wanted to add on this topic, or are you good?
Wait, which was the topic? I just don't.
There you go.
Oh.
We was talking about so many different things.
I know. So
Well,
you got to stop.
No, you already spoke on Roman Reigns. That's it. Cause
oh yes, wait, I did. I had an update.
Okay.
The DEA announced that they are not pursuing Roman. They are not interested in Roman. And the guy who started naming all the names, it was in hopes of him getting a plea deal. And the thing is that the DEA announced that they're not after anyone who may or may not have bought anything. They're after the sellers.
There you go.
So Roman is completely off the hook. He's good.
That's good. As it should be. They should be going after them.
Didn't this happen with Randy Orton a few years back? He was on a list too for steroids, but then he was actually juicing too. Because remember, he failed a few wellness ones. Oh.
Yeah, you're right. Oh, well, that's good news for Roman Reigns and Roman Reigns fans. So that everybody can look forward to him winning the Universal title at WrestleMania against Brock Lesnar. So, yeah, yay.
All right. Yay.
So, now, since you already mentioned it, Adam, we're going to just jump right into the main topic because obviously there were a lot of signings in WWE this past week. One of which that I have been waiting for literally 2 years in the making, and that's Ricochet. But before we get into Ricochet, I just want to ask you guys, of pretty much of all the signings that we heard about, which ones do you think are going to be successful and which ones do you think may crash and burn? Because we already know when they get called up to the main roster, all bets are off, and then that's usually when bad things happen. So, yeah. Adam, how about you start us off?
Man, honestly, I would have to say probably War Machine and maybe Ricochet. Ricochet's awesome. We all know he's awesome, But the thing is, will we see all that awesomeness? Will we see that? He's not great on the mic, but the guy can move. And I put him in a category of like Rob Van Dam. Remember when Rob Van Dam was killing it in ECW? We're like, oh, man. And then when he started doing those Raw invasions, I'm like, oh, they're definitely going to pick him up. He's going to be the man. And they picked him up and they gave him a little push, but he was never like a top guy. They never really treated him like that because, Vince likes the bigger guys. He doesn't care too much for the high flyers, and that's the thing with Ricochet. Ricochet is not a big guy, but he's an amazing high flyer. He's very entertaining. But they might put him in a different category. Same thing with Prince Devitt, which is Finn Balor. I remember when I was watching in New Japan, Wrestle Kingdoms, I'm like, man, if they pick him up, it's going to be awesome. But look what's happening with him. So that's why I'm a little iffy on it. But War Machine, for those who haven't seen them, look them up. Big dudes. Big dudes do big power moves. It's a tag team. It's not the MMA guy who beat up his girl and is in prison. This is a tag team War Machine. And they do flips and stuff. It's some crazy stuff. They do a lot of innovative tag team moves. They have a weird gimmick. It's like these weird barbarian type things. That might go out the window. Who knows? But, Vince likes big guys. And I still say it's still Vince's world. So, yeah, they'll go into NXT and they'll be there for a little while. But eventually they have to go up to the main roster. And then that's playing up there with, what Vince wants to do. So I think because they're so big and burly, the way they look with the big beards, I mean, they would definitely fit well in like the Wyatt family type of thing if that was still around. But I see them getting there. Everybody else, the guys they picked up from India, don't know much about them. I know one of them is a Bollywood star, LaRae. I think it's LaRae, which is Johnny Gargano's wife. She can work. I don't know if that's going to help. I mean, we still don't really know what's going on with the women's NXT division. I mean, Shane is getting a big push, and so who knows their direction of how they want to push that. I don't think it's the same of the way we had it with Bayley and Becky and how they were having these real technical feuds back and forth. Right now, it looks like she's going to be their Nia, and she's going to destroy everybody. So Candice, she's a smaller girl, so I don't see her coming in as like that type of destroyer. So who knows? She's sort of like the Johnny Wrestling for women, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, for me, it's going to be War Machine's going to win big on this, and hopefully, I mean, man, the only thing honestly with Ricochet is I really hope they let him do what made him famous and why they needed to pick him up, which was a lot of the crazy moves. I don't know if we'll ever see him do the double moonsault, which was amazing, and I'm still amazed that I saw something like that. But it's going to be interesting. I don't even know if he's going to come in as Ricochet. No one knows. They might squash that. I know that. No, I don't know. They might put him under a mask. Who knows? Who knows? But I just, in my heart, I just don't. And from the WWE's track record with these high flyers, these amazing high flyers, smaller guys. I mean, the only one that actually made it, if you think about it, is AJ Styles. But he can talk on the mic. And Ricochet's not on that level. He's still young. And we'll see. But I think for me, War Machine will make it.
That's a good pick. One thing I'll say real quick, and then I'll go to you, Dana. I did see the press release for Ricochet. I know they made a huge deal about that news. So I would like to hope that when they have him, he's actually not going to be under a mask. But I don't know how they're going to portray him. I'm hoping that maybe he will be at the NXT event, NXT Takeover, but I have no idea. Obviously, there's only 4 matches on that card as of right now. So we'll see.
He could keep with the tradition, and the tradition is that the guy sitting in the audience. Remember?
Yeah,
they did that before with Rude, and they did it before with Drew, and a few other people where they're just sitting in there. It was like, oh, look who's here! Look who's here!
That's possible. So, yeah, that makes sense. That's very possible. We'll see. Okay, Dana. So, do you think? Same question for you. Who you think will be successful, and who you think it might not be? It might turn out to be a failure.
Ronda, only because of her name. Literally, that's the only reason why. I literally could give 5 flying farts about Ronda, but she will be that big name draw. So Ronda,
but is she full time though? I thought she was just coming for some main event stuff. She's not going to be full time.
Well, I thought she was coming in full time. I know she definitely. They was planning the 4 horsewomen versus the 4 women of MMA. So, to me, that's just, it's so late. They should have did that when they had that whole Stephanie McMahon. Remember when Steph and Triple H rang back in WrestleMania? I don't care. And then Ronda lost twice. I don't. It's like the
I think they scrapped that though. Only because when you hear about who's at the Performance Center, you only hear about Shayna and Ronda. So that's when you hear that, and tells me I don't think they're doing the whole 4 group thing again. But it's gonna be tough because think about it. Is Ronda gonna come in as Brock, the female Brock? Is she just gonna destroy everybody? Because I mean.
Basically, and people don't like her that much. She's very, her personality still rubs people the wrong way. And I honestly
like Brock. He's still a prick.
Here's the thing with Brock. Even though he's really arrogant and everything, he had personality. Remember, they just stripped it away from him. He had personality. He was that serious guy who can also be really funny. He was kind of good on the mic. He was passable. He had that really great thing with him and Kurt Angle. And then they just made him into this boring, stale guy who just killed people in the home. And the thing with Ronda, she does not have a personality at all. And people just don't like her. So for me, she's really forgettable. And I don't know why she's even there. It's too late.
She's a name. She's a name. And I mean, why did they want to bring Shaquille O'Neal for a match with Big Show? Who the hell gives a shit about that? But they were, right? But they were pushing that like that was something people wanted to see. Nobody wanted to see that, and I'm glad it did happen. So, I mean, this is no surprise. Now the question is, can she work, or is she going to really hurt them like Ken Shamrock when he first got into it? So
most likely.
It's gonna. I mean, Shayna. It's working for me with Shayna. She's real stiff, or at least her work looks real stiff. She has the look. She has the whole gimmick thing of being the tough girl and the bully girl, and I think it's gonna work out for her. So if Ronda comes in, I don't know how they squeeze her in on all of that if Shayna's already playing that part. So I don't know unless somebody calls her out. It's got to be one of those things where somebody calls her out on the main roster. I don't think Ronda's going to NXT. That's going to be Shayna's world.
Well, didn't she have that feud with Charlotte? So.
Oh, but are you bringing this up because the rumor that she might be in the Rumble, the Women's Rumble?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's
that's it. So then there you go. So the whole point of the Rumble, the way I always saw it and the way it used to be back in the day, is that it starts feuds. People that normally don't hit each other or get into it in a Rumble, or you throw the wrong person out. Hey, why'd you do that? We've seen tag teams break up because of it,
Mm-hmm.
So I could see if she did jump in, and then whoever she throws out, maybe a big star from Raw or a big star from SmackDown, would point in the direction. Well, Raw's the main brand, right, for them. So she's going to throw somebody out from Raw, and then that's going to lead into her going there probably. But I don't know. I'm still I still don't see it happening right away though. I don't know how they're going to do it to bring her in, but
she's been training for a while.
Yeah, no, she has.
One yet. So.
But it's funny. Brian Kendrick, they said, was training her. And then he just got his face smashed in from the go to sleep. That was horrible. And I watched it. They kept showing the replay of it, and I'm like, we've seen CM Punk do this a million times. What was so different? And what I saw is that usually when CM Punk does it, it's more of they hit his thigh. Like when they go down, they hit the thigh, the head, the side of the head, that type of thing. It's fleshy. This was like direct. He was going down and the knee was coming up. Just instant smash, and he caught it right in the face from the knee. So that was. Well,
I hope he has a safe recovery, but I will say the move did exactly what it did. It put him to sleep. So
there you go. So technically, did he do the move wrong or did he do the move right? There you go.
Well, he did it right, I guess. I'm only surprised because Hideo is the one that did it. Normally, Hideo is the one getting injured. So,
it was payback. This is finally his payback. But now he can't payback. But you know what? He can't do it anymore because you see now he's got a different finisher. I think it's a submission or something. He's not doing that anymore.
Well, CM Punk return confirmed.
Maybe.
No, I'm joking about him dropping the GTS.
There you go. Yeah. And that's another thing that when he did that, and then some people were booing and chanting CM Punk, and you hear the announcer saying, CM, this is the innovator. Hideo came up with this move. He came up with a bunch of other moves too. It's just, it's like, but it doesn't matter. The universe sees what they see, and what they see is somebody doing a move from somebody that they love and they wish was there. So
exactly,
they should have known that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen once they signed him. I'm like, well, he's not going to be able to do that move, unless Punk was still there. I mean, hell, he was in NXT doing the drop kick sending the guy flying to the turnbuckle, and Finn Balor does that too. He took that move, and Finn Balor does it. So now you got two guys pretty much doing the same setup move, which is that, when he runs and he kicks a guy and he goes flying to the turnbuckle. And it's sad. It's sad that moves that you created and now you're considered the copycat. It's sort of like, I don't know if you guys ever heard, like a Hurt by 9 Inch Nails. Johnny Cash did a cover, but yet till this day, when I play it, somebody's like, "Oh, that's a Johnny Cash song." No, it's not. It's a 9 Inch Nails song, and Johnny Cash no. Johnny Cash don't do covers. Why would he do a cover? You're stupid. You don't know. Man, that pisses me off.
Yeah. All right, Ricky. What are your thoughts on whether or not who you think is going to be a success or a failure?
Well, I was gonna say, as far as like Candice LaRae and War Machine, I haven't really seen their work, so I can't really comment on them. I'm a fan of Ricochet, and I believe in his talent, and I'm not sure that I believe in the people that will be booking him. But I want to hope that that the talent will overcome that. The same way like it did with Sami Zayn, who was another high flyer type who, granted, he never got the main event push on the main roster, but he's been, having some pretty fairly important moments and here and there and all that. And he's not on 205 Live or anything like that. So it all depends on how they use him. And I don't know how that's going to be, but I'm going to say Ricochet's too good to fail. But we've seen really talented guys fail, so who knows? I'm not sure, but I'm going to say he does all right. As for Ronda Rousey, I was really trying to save that for the prediction show. I'm just going to say right now, she's winning the female Royal Rumble. Get used to it. Because you have to remember that this is a business, and Vince will do anything to draw attention to the product. You know that if Ronda wins that thing, it's going to be all over the news. Like ESPN's going to say, ESPN is already in bed with WWE, so they're going to push that out. It's going to draw publicity to WrestleMania, and all that stuff. Whether she deserves it or not is going to be besides the point. We saw Batista win the Royal Rumble in 2014, less than a month after he came back. He
they don't know why they did that.
It was a bad decision, and that was because he was. If you remember, that was around the time that he was going to be in the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie. Mm-hmm. So they kind of wanted him to be the champion, at WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, and he'll be holding the belt around when this movie's coming out and all that stuff, and it blew up in their face. So with Ronda Rousey, like it's some people have been talking about, maybe Becky Lynch should win the female Rumble because she's due for a major moment and all that, but I think it's just going to just throw it away and give it to Ronda Rousey and make it a big mockery of this whole, like, look at how revolutionary we are. We're rewarding all of our working women with this great opportunity, and then we're gonna bring this other chick in, and she's gonna beat all of you because she's a bigger name than any of you guys are. That's how the company works.
Yeah, well, I feel like every company does that whenever a big star comes in. Remember TNA for a long time. Every big name that jumped ship got a title shot and got the belt. Hell, even Christian became their champion. You know what I mean? It was like, yo, what is happening? So think of all the guys in the back. They're like, oh, great, another one coming. So I guess he's getting the title shot next and he's going to win it. So I can see that, I could see that.
Yeah, but go ahead. But no, I was going to say that at least in Christian's situation, he was a legitimate wrestler and he was just underutilized on WWE. He in going to TNA, he became a bigger name there, and it's understandable to push that guy there. Ronda Rousey has no experience in sports entertainment unless you decide that UFC is now that.
But they do have proof that whole crossover does work, and that's Ken Shamrock. Because Ken Shamrock, same thing. He was green on that, and they're like, oh, it's not going to work. But he developed a character. He got good on the mic. He had some really cool feuds with people, and it worked out. So, that's the thing. She is an instant heel, because she lacks remorse and she comes very stiff and cruel toward people and cold-hearted. And if she can tweak that a little bit, then there you go. You got a full-time heel.
Mm-hmm. Oh, so. Yeah. No, I think that could work. But that would be the one thing that can make her successful in that regard is that. But I don't know.
What I was thinking, and I was like, well, maybe it would be. They probably wouldn't do it, but if the feud started between her and Shayna, because then they both know each other, they've trained with each other, they definitely have done, BJJ and wrestling and all the things together, so they would know each other's movements, and that would probably be a very interesting match to see, just because they know each other so well. But it's probably too soon to see.
Way too soon.
But I was just thinking, like, story-wise, you could say, I was always in your shadow type of thing, and I could have beaten you, meaning for Shayna, and they could do that whole thing. I know it wouldn't happen now, but that's just later down the road. That's something they can do.
I just want to make a quick comment, and then I guess whoever wants to go next can go. I just want to say this. I do think Ricky made a very good point. I definitely could see, Ronda winning that match. And, I'm fine with Ronda winning whatever, that match. But the day that they decide Ronda's the one to end Asuka's undefeated streak, then I have a problem with that. But
it's got to be somebody, man. Think about it. Right now. All right, so right now on that roster, who do you think deserves that?
Charlotte.
You think Charlotte?
That's the match that I think people would want to see, Charlotte and her. I think Charlotte is the one. But if they say Ronda, then I mean, I don't know how I'm gonna feel about that. I definitely won't be happy about it. But that's probably is what's gonna happen.
But it's what's most likely is gonna happen because remember also, just because it is the Revolution, remember they disrespected it by having Carmella win the way that she did during the very first Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
With the whole oh God, that guy who got fired. I can't remember anyone's
Ellsworth.
name.
James Ellsworth.
Yeah. So that whole undermining thing of like, let's have a man go and win it for a woman. So many people was upset about that, but they don't really have that type of respect for the Revolution anymore. They just say it as like, a name thing. So I definitely see Ronda coming in, winning, and doing with Asuka and, winning in like a Brock Lesnar style, and that's it.
What sickens me about this whole women's thing is that all of this work gets done, and then Stephanie McMahon, who was the last person to give a shit about any of these female wrestlers, is the one to come out and make these big announcements and take credit for this stuff happening, even though she really has nothing to do with it, any of the development of any of these women.
Well, it's her husband, so they'll just say, "Hey, it's a team effort." He came up with an idea and I approved it. There you go. So, it's always like that. It's like, who's in charge? The creative or the people that put the money behind it? I mean, we see it all the time, especially in the NFL. I mean, most sport teams do, but I think it's only the NFL that really does it, where when a NFL team wins, before they do the raising and all that stuff for the trophy, the owner comes out. He's the money man. No one gives a shit about this. Who the hell is that? It's not even the coach, right? But some old dude comes up, he gets it, he raises it a little bit, unless it's Mark Cuban, and then he hands it off to the team, and everybody cheers. So just put Stephanie in that boat. That's it. It's like her husband's there. It was like, hey, I want to do this women's tournament. I don't know. My daddy don't like that. Don't worry. I think it'll work. We'll just call them women instead of TV. You sure about? Yeah, don't worry about it. Okay. And then it worked. That women's tournament, I think, was a big one. It got a lot of ratings. It was up there on the network, and it worked out. It brought in a lot of talent. So,
and it also made them sign really crappy wrestlers as well. Though, sorry.
Oh, you don't like Pirate Girl with the crazy elbow that's hurting herself more than anything? Man, that elbow.
And I don't like Shadia. She wrestles very stiff. She can't wrestle.
Is that the one with the hair whip? Who's the one with the hair whip?
No, isn't it the black girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know her name, but they signed her. She does the hair whip, where she takes it and starts whipping it around. Oh, they got a lot of talent in the group.
Bianca Belair.
There you go, Bianca Belair. Yeah.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Serena.
The straight edge alcoholic from CM Punk days.
Oh yeah. I'll be very curious to see how she looks now, how she's different.
Well, she was in the tournament. She was in that tournament.
Oh, she was in the tournament. Okay.
Yeah, she was. That's how they introduced her again. It was like, she had a drinking problem and all this other stuff, but she cleaned up and she's back and ready to do full-time wrestling, and that was it. She I think won like 2 matches, I think, and that's
the Mae Young Classic.
Yeah, I know she definitely won 1 match in it.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. So the thing is that I don't know many people are going to recognize her unless she shaves her head, because that was it. Everybody knew her as a shaved head girl, part of the group. So if she comes back, it's not one of those things where they can mention it, because then that means they have to mention CM Punk. And they don't want to mention CM Punk. So what do? You can't really do much. So you got to treat her like a noob in a way.
Yeah, that's true. It's you're rebranding her basically.
Yeah, you got to rebrand her. So, same thing with the EC3 if he shows up. You know, it's like they're not going to say that, you know, that his real name and what he was going under in NXT unless he comes in like that. But then it's pointless throwing him in if you do that because no one's going to know, you know, at least a regular fan. But if you bring him out and people start chanting it and then somebody leans over to the next guy and says, oh, blah, 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 and then he takes out his phone and shows them, you know, there you go. You catch up within 10 minutes. You're like, oh, okay, I get it. I get why he's in this.
They got the whole delete thing for Matt Hardy. They'll get it. It'll be all right.
Yeah. I'm glad that's catching on. I'm glad that is catching on. Oh, did you hear he did an interview with the IGN and he said a final deletion is coming and that they are working on one?
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I
he
thought
said
they
it's
did their own. Oh, go ahead. I was gonna say I thought they did their own version of that with the Wyatt family and
well, that's what the guy who's interviewing asked me. He's like, you know, you've done your final deletion. WWE has tried it with Wyatt. Has that even come up? He's like, oh, that definitely came up. He said, we're definitely going to work on something like that. That's the plan. You know, and the one thing that he gets a lot backlash on Twitter, so people like, oh, when is this happening? When is that happening? It's like it's all about patience. You know, they're just still trying to get the WWE universe that doesn't watch all the other stuff besides WWE, just used to it, you know, and just used to what's going on with him, you know. And remember, when he first started, when it started popping up, it was just weird videos and stuff. It was a slow burn, you know, but now everybody wants it real quick. They like want him to come out. They want the craziness. They want, you know, see his wife and kid, you know, King Maxwell and all that. They want to see all of it. And, you know, the compound, it's going to take time. You can't just throw that all out.
Do you think at Raw 25 we're getting Brother Nero? Because I know Jeff is going to be there, I think.
Well, he's still recovering from his injury, but I think when he does come back,
in there and just be like Brother Nero, and that's it.
When he has to do the makeup and the contacts. He has to be dead. He has to be reborn. You know, so again, that's something else. They have to ease into that because remember that it was at was it final deletion of one of those where he killed him. You know, he killed Jeff and he brought him back, and then Jeff was reborn as you know, Brother Nero. You know, and then that was the whole thing. And then they signed Crazy Steve, who was also part of that whole feud thing, and they still haven't done anything with him. He's been there for months now.
Would there be any way of them getting Senor Benjamin?
Yeah, that's his wife's father. So that's not that hard to get if they're willing to do it, you know. So that's his wife's father. So yeah, Ruby Sky. So they can do that. You know, but it all depends if they're willing to go in that direction. They might go in a different direction. They might just introduce a bunch of people, and then I think he should have his own little group. You know, he used to feud with Crazy Steve, but I think Crazy Steve should be part of his group, and of course, Brother Nero. You know, and then I still think the Wyatt family should get back together because this whole thing with the tag team, I can't forget the Bludgeon Brothers. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous.
That's War Machine, right? That's War Machine.
War Machine, but without the War Machine's arms are bigger than those sledgehammer. They don't need that. That's a feud right there. That's what I'm saying. That's like you don't. And these are big dudes. They can work. You're fooling no one. We know who they are. You know, why are you repackaging them like this when there was no need for it?
Take Heavy Machinery and Bludgeon Brothers and put them in a blender, and you got War Machine.
There you go. There you go. You know, so that's why it's like, oh man, I hope after Rumble, because they were talking we're going to do a shakeup. Remember at the last pay-per-view or something, they were talking about doing a shakeup. Didn't happen. Again, scrap that, put them up on Raw, and that way it starts balancing out when Brother Nero, and if they add Crazy Steve or someone, man, I would really like Abyss. You know, you guys remember Abyss? Abyss was part of that whole thing too. You know. And
what about Rockstar Spud?
He's still there. He was supposed to show up. He was backstage for 205 2 weeks ago. He was talking about he thought he was going to come out there, but it didn't happen. So maybe they're saving him for something. But he's good to go. He's good to go, and he was there. So he's definitely 205 though. That's a definite. So he knows that. They knew that. You know. But and it also looks like what's his name is officially gone. Neville.
Oh yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, he's gone. You know. So it is what it is. You know. It is what it is. Hey, but you know what? The thing is, with someone like Neville, with all that talent, you know, and if the rumor is true why he left, he just got burnt out. The travel and all that, it was just too much. It wasn't so much about the story. It was just nothing was changing for him, and he's constantly on a road and doing all that stuff. You know, let him go out there, do some stuff, and then eventually he'll come back. You know, they always come back. You know. So
That's right. That's right.
you know, that door is always open. It's whatever's best for business. And but the thing is that he might come back, but 205 might not be around by then. So
well, that'll probably be for the best if that's the case.
But we all know why it's failing. I mean, at least I know. I think you guys know. I mean, it's all about star power.
Oh no, it's two words. Two words.
What?
Vince McMahon. That's why.
You think it's why? Yeah. I think it's star power. I think they just didn't have enough big name star power in it to draw the casual fan into watching it. Like, why are they watching it now? Because of Enzo. You know, is he that great of a worker? No, but he talks and they know him. And I think they needed more of that. You know, and if they're signing some big name lightweight indie guys, try to convince them to go there for a little bit. Let 205 be their NXT. You know, go there, do your thing, and then we'll feud you up and move you up. But I agree, and I think that you make a good point about star power. But the reason why I say Vince McMahon is because you look at how Triple H handled that cruiserweight tournament, and that was everybody was talking about it. But then as soon as this was brought over to the main roster now, Vince doesn't understand half of these guys that they have on that roster to begin with. So that was why it's an issue, you know. And of course, he is someone who likes to have full control over everything. He doesn't want to give other people control if they see something's working. So I have to blame Vince for this also. Yeah, he's always going to take blame for it, you know. But he doesn't like little guys, and that's we all know that. We knew that forever. He just doesn't like little guys. You know, and remember they put a ban. They put a ban on high flying after Bourne got hurt. What is his name? Jason Bourne. Yeah, after he got hurt. Yeah, they banned it. They were like, yeah, no more of these high fly moves and all this stuff. You know, people getting hurt. It's not happening. You know, so I thought that was it. I was like, at least for who knows when we'll ever see that type of style come back. And then, poof, here we go. You know, a lot of it was happening on NXT. And then we got the Cruiserweight tournament. Now it's, you know, full time.
Well, I mean, typical Vince McMahon WWE stuff is when you see like, oh, we need to do something about these cruiserweights and make them interesting. So we'll pass Alicia Fox around, you know, because she's not doing anything, and we'll have her have like love interest with multiple guys and all that. It's like
sounded so wrong.
Yeah. But really, that's what it is.
They was because it was a love affair.
Alicia Fox.
Yeah, she was with one guy, and then after that, she left him to start dating the other guy. You know, so
now Nia Jax is, you know, with Enzo, and it's just like, okay,
how you doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. We'll see, but I think that pretty much concludes the show for this week. Very, very good discussions all throughout, and very curious to hear what you guys have to say. So feel free to leave your comments in the comment section. Next week's show, we are going to be talking about our Royal Rumble predictions as well as the NXT TakeOver Philadelphia. And we'll also give our thoughts on Raw 25 this upcoming Monday. So look for that show next Friday. But do you guys have any final shout outs that you would like to give? And I'll let you start off first, Dana.
Basically, shout out to all of the listeners and everyone who is in the chat. Shout out to, I don't know. That's it. Yeah, shout out to those guys. Because without their support, we wouldn't be here. So shout out to them.
Absolutely agree. How about you, Adam? Any shout outs you'd like to give?
Yeah, shout out to the people that like wrestling, you know, and like to talk about wrestling and just enjoy watching wrestling from all different promotions and just, you know, just opening up and just experiencing. You know, there's a lot of great wrestling out there. And if you have Netflix, watch some of the back-ish episodes and seasons of Lucha Underground. That's fun, especially now with Ricochet coming. You can watch some of him as Prince Puma. That's fun. And yeah, big shout out to everybody over at my other podcast over at the Throwdown. You know, also here on Koalition. So that's our gaming one. You can check that out. That's on Thursdays and Sundays. And that's it. Shout out to everybody here. You see, we all talk wrestling. We love wrestling. Wrestling is fun. It's healthy. You know, that's it. It's good. It's good. Steroids are good in wrestling. Love it. Embrace it.
Absolutely. Yes. Okay, how about you, Ricky? Any shout outs you'd like to give?
Sure, yeah. Shout out to all the people who are watching and listening to the podcast. The only thing that's more fun than watching wrestling is bitching about it. So I'm glad that you could be a part of that.
I'm glad you came out of retirement. And
yes, I'm glad to be back. You know, I'm kind of doing the Brock Lesnar thing where I show up and I disappear for a while and then come back But I had to come into here for this. I plan to be back for the prediction show coming up.
We didn't even get to talk about why you hate Wrestle Kingdom so much. Well,
I know. I'm so disappointed about that. I'll have to save that for another time. I mean, I didn't hate Wrestle Kingdom. I was just so tired. But I can
saying that Kenny Omega is the weakest link. I was like, whoa.
Oh, who said that? I don't know.
I have to spread fake news. That's what I do.
Oh,
that's what I do.
That's slander. Oh, and shout out to people who are going to be watching pretty big game on Sunday. FC Barcelona versus Real Betis. Yes, soccer. I'm just fucking around. Yeah, we all know what's going on Sunday. So
we got a lot of problems.
Yeah. But shout out to all people who like wrestling. Keep watching the podcast. Tell all your friends. Participate in the chat. If you have any ideas, share those. And yeah.
What I would like is if people would just post up wrestlers that they would like to see in WWE and why. Because everybody wants to see them, mainly because we get to see them all the time. So then it's like, yeah, they're in front of our face, but why would you want them? Like, besides that, like, is there a certain feud or something? Like, for me, I have one already, which is the Monster Matanza. Jeff Cobb. I love him. He's an awesome wrestler. And he has a funny backstory of why they passed on him the first time. But yeah, besides that, I mean, I'd like to know what other people think, who they think, and then don't say Kenny Omega because we know whatever. There's got to be other people though.
Absolutely. And yes, once again, thank you all for your continued support. Thank you to everybody that participated in the chat. And we'll talk to you all next Friday.
Peace.